what had to happen back in the day, like back in the day, I'm picturing like Little Women.
Right? You can think to yourself, if I just outwork everyone, I will win. But like, not only will you lose, but you're going to be exhausted at the end of it.
And getting distracted by this thing, that thing. Oh, what about that? Oh, the grass is greener here. The grass will never be green until you water the grass in your own yard.
How do I get more leads?
How do I stand out in my market?
Is it unprofessional to talk about my kids on Instagram?
Should I have one account or two?
Do I really need a personal brand as a real estate agent?
We are the Modern Agent Marketing Girls. We are two agents turned marketing experts who believe you can become the go-to real estate girl in your market, all because you are you. I'm Chelsea Peterson, founder and CEO of Modern Agent Social Club.
And I'm Kayla Fox, Modern Agent's content creator. Let us be your guide as we talk about what it means to market your real estate business the modern way.
So refill your favorite beverage, open your notes app, and get ready to build a business and a brand you're obsessed with. Let's go. Good morning, marketing girls.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Marketing Girls podcast. We're in full summer mode over here, and Chelsea and I have had so much fun playing with our video backgrounds this morning.
We have a new studio. If you could see us, you would see that we are in a wine bar surrounded by cute light fixtures, amazing bottles of wine, and I wish I could open one right now and have some.
At 10 in the morning. Talk about romanticizing your life, just all this modern technology really works in our favor.
And that's what we're talking about today is what's the modern definition of being a top producer? Like, I'll just come out and say it. Like, what does that mean? Because how it used to look and how we used to think of a top producer has completely evolved and or should be evolving. I actually looked up the definition of modern because it just helps to bring clarity to the point of this. But the definition of modern generally refers to anything relating to the present or recent times as opposed to the remote or classical past.
Classical. So what do you think of when you would think of like top producer in like the traditional way, like the olden ways?
The olden days. To be honest, when I got my license and I would see the top producers, there was like this divide where I was like, well, I don't want that life.
Mm-hmm.
And you get into real estate to build your own business, to make as much money as you want, right? Like there's no cap on how much money you can make. You are in control of your business. You're in control of your marketing. And I would look at them in my city and be like, well, I don't want their life. Like, so I guess I can't be one, right? But
right.
When you think about it, like the top producers typically grew their business quite a long time ago. Not all of them, but that's why we're talking about the modern ones today. But I would think like, well, why would I work that hard to never be able to have a Saturday free or to never be able to just get referrals? Like, it's like they were working harder, not smarter, was like the vision that I got, or like lots of cold leads. I mean, I'm sure there were lots of referrals too, but the way of how they grew their business was just not something I wanted to sign up for. I always will say, like whatever you're consistent with, you'll get results. I mean, if you want to door knock every single day, you'll probably drum up some business for yourself. And if you wanted to cold call every single day, you'll probably drum up some business for yourself. But what you have to be careful about is that if you're consistent with the thing you don't want your life to be and it works, so like let's say you do open houses every Saturday and Sunday. And you're like, okay, when I do them every weekend, I tend to get, 5 leads a month. And I'm gone all day Saturday and Sunday. I have this whole strategy to it. And I'm getting lots of good leads. But now your marketing is reliant on you doing open houses every Saturday and Sunday. So that is like something you want to sustain. I feel like with the top producer of the past, the marketing methods they were following and the life they were living, like it just wasn't jiving with my brain. And I was like, but why would you want to sell that many units when you could just sell higher priced homes or like whatever it is for you, right? Like niche down a little bit. What are your thoughts on it?
When I think of top producer, because my mom has been an agent like my whole life. So I literally grew up in the industry. And when I think of like the top producers of her day, I picture people crossing their arms on billboards and like posing. Of course, like even back then, like I remember literally pulling into like Scott's grocery store to pick up like the hot sheet so that my mom could see what houses were listed because like the internet didn't exist yet, right? So, yeah, when I think of those things, I just think to myself, oh, the irony of the agents who are like, I don't want to be on camera, or I don't want to talk to the camera, or I just feel weird in my stories or whatever. I'm like, I would feel so much weirder and more icky putting my face all over a billboard or a grocery cart than ever that I would getting on my own Instagram and talking to my own people. Like, to me, that like is such a breath of fresh air. Now, I'm saying this with full respect, right? Because they obviously did what they did. They built something great in the time that they were doing this, and it stood the test of time for so long, right? The problem is a lot of them are like retiring now, and the world is just different now, and we can sit here and, talk about all these different methods, and people can give us all these reasons why we're wrong. Because, like, one time you did get a lead from an open house, or one time you did get someone who called you from a postcard, or multiple times, whatever. The bottom line is like what you said, there are multiple ways to get from point A to point B. If I want to drive one town over, I could drive straight there on the interstate. I could take the scenic route and go on some of the country roads. I could go by the lakes. I could just not even use a map and literally just wander around forever. And eventually I would get there, right? I could ride a bike. I could go on a walk. Like, I could do so many things. The point is, like, how soon do you want to get there and how do you want to feel when you get there? Like, maybe for you, like, driving on a highway, like, makes you panic. Makes you like, so maybe you get there the fastest, but would your anxiety just be like through the roof? You know what I mean? Like, there's just, you have to think about what you want, the timing that you want, and then how you actually want to feel on your way there and when you're there. And we live in an age where we get the luxury of considering that. Like, how great is that?
How are you gonna feel when you get there and when you're on the way there? That's a good thing to keep in mind. Obviously, top producers are successful for a reason, and it's not that they're wrong. In fact, this conversation came up for us because we had someone say, "Well, all the top producers in my area, all they post is just listed and just sold." And we're like, "Okay, let's reverse engineer because they became the top producer before the internet is what it is today." The second part of that is you have to look at, like, what is their daily life? Like, what is their day to day? If you wrote down, like, if you could picture your dream business as a destination and you're on that highway or you're on that back road or you're on that bike getting there, what does a destination look like for you, first of all? Because whatever that looks like has to align with the marketing you're doing now, because that changes who you're attracting, the type of clients you're serving. It affects the price points that you're working in. It affects the community that you're working in. Are you driving all over the place? Are you paying for Zillow leads in like 8 different towns? Are you like spreading yourself all, like, it all circles back. So if you decide, like, my dream destination is I want more referrals. I don't want to chase business. I don't want to do open houses on the weekend. I definitely am not cold calling. I want to have people coming to me more effortlessly. Like, at the end of the day, I want to make a lot of money, but I don't want to hustle 24/7. I think that is the epitome of what we picture when we picture top producer of the past, is they're just working 24/7. They're available 24/7. Their signs are all over town. They're on the billboard, the park bench, the grocery store cart. But what does that equate to? What is their lifestyle equating to? Are they missing their kids' soccer games? Are they never taking a vacation? Because, oh my God, I can't imagine taking a vacation, right? Like, those types of things. I always saw that and I was like, well, I don't want that. There has to be a better way to do this. There has to be a better way than, like, constantly, I call it like apologetically selling, kind of like a sorry to bother you, or like you're at the open house and it's like, hey, could you sign in please so I can follow up with you? I guess that's what I think about, is what is that destination? And then you choose your route based on that. If your goal is more referrals and business coming to you and like all the things I just said, you're probably not going to get that through cold calling every day or through posting just listed and just sold. And that's all that your Instagram feed is, right? Like, you're instantly telling someone, this is not for you. This is just like my collection of trophies that I have right here. It's like my little business trophy case is like your Instagram. You won't get the referrals from people you know and from your community if that's what you're putting out there. So, like, what your output or your input is going to equal your output. So if your input is more outdated tactics, then your output's going to reflect that in the clients you have, in the life you live, all the things. But we have to remember top producers are successful for a reason. And usually it's because they focused on something and did it really well. So that could have been open houses. It could have been their postcard system. It could have been a combination of those things, right? But they did it really well. They did it consistently over time, and then they grew their business because of it. So you can do the same thing, but you don't have to take that route. Like that route is today to me like you said, it's like the freeway. Like it feels like, oh, like if I do this every weekend, I could have a few leads by the end of the month. But what does that mean for a year from now? Are you still going to have to rely on doing those things every single weekend to reproduce that result?
Yeah. For everything, there is a trade-off because everyone's got the same 24 hours in a day. You know, the agents who are quote unquote more successful than you don't have more time in the day than you. They're just choosing to use it differently. I know you and I have followed a few people who they just have experienced wild success, and it's so cool and motivating and fun to watch how they live their lives and think like, "Oh my gosh, we could do that." But there was one week where both of us saw that someone was talking about how they pay someone to wake up their kids in the morning and to get them ready at night and to tuck them in at night. And like that's not that they didn't spend any time with their kids, and this is not like a judgmental conversation. I just thought to myself, "Oh, I want to wake my kids up in the morning. I want to make them breakfast. I want to have dinner with them. I want to like all of those things." And so while there are some times when it is, 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night and everyone's asking what's for dinner. And I just had this like brilliant idea in my head. And I'm like, oh, I really want to work on this. And I can't because I have to make dinner. I also think to myself, like, well, I chose that I wanted to be the kind of mom who is here making dinner, hanging out. You know what I mean? Like, so there's a trade off. And like, one is not superior to the other. You just have to ask yourself, what are you willing to trade? Is it your time? Is it your energy? Is it your money? Like, what are you willing to trade?
And we're not saying this because we're saying don't be a top producer. We're saying
No, no, no,
the
no.
game has changed. And what was required to become one 20 years ago, even 15 years ago, isn't required now because what had to happen back in the day, like back in the day, I'm picturing like Little Women.
Right?
Like the old school top producer, it was like the one woman, she was door knocking, she was open house hosting, she like outworked everyone, right? And she
Yeah.
was everywhere and it worked. And in a world where showing up physically or on the phone would be another route was the only way to be seen and visible, right? A top producer now doesn't have to follow that method because there are other opportunities available. You can be
Yeah.
visible when you market yourself well. And that
Yeah.
can all happen from the comfort of your home if you want it to. That will come with a cost too. It will come with the cost of, well, I have to get my face on camera. I have to learn a new way of marketing. I have to figure out who I'm talking to. Like it's not we're going to post generic content and become a top producer on Instagram. It's we're going to build a brand that makes us known for this thing and makes us visible and places us in front of the people we want to be placed in front of intentionally. And now you are marketing yourself well. And when you do that, it means that your business is consistently seen by those people and it's consistently clear of how they could talk about you, whether they're at lunch with a friend or they are on a walk with their neighbor and the topic of selling comes up. Like they know what to say about you, not just because you were on a billboard, but because they've seen and connected with you in real life over and over and over, or in on Instagram, I'm sorry, on social media and in real life over and over
Yeah.
and over again. So it's still being visible, but it's being intentionally visible in a way that presents you a certain way versus like, oh, I should call who's on the billboard. Like the billboard doesn't equate to like good agent. The billboard doesn't equate to that's what it would be like to work with her. The billboard doesn't equate to I think I would be in good hands with them. Like a billboard was just something they paid for to put their face up there, right?
Right.
A brand is something you build intentionally so that people get to see that's what I'm going to get or that's who I want to work with. That's who I want holding my hand. But that comes through a variety of things. Like again, not just listed and just sold, but like what is your energy? Like people need to be able to see your energy of like are you bubbly? Are you really serious? Are you a mix of both? Like if that can come through, people are going to start to either gravitate towards you or not.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing because we don't want to work with everyone, and we don't wanna work with people that when we were in person would never be a good fit anyways, right? So, it's almost like or social media is like a filtering system. Like, you're gonna filter in the ones who are like, "You're for me," and you're gonna filter out the ones who that you'd probably just waste your time meeting with them because you wouldn't jive and they wouldn't wanna work with you anyways, right? So, it's like a trailer, like, you're auditioning. You're auditioning for being their agent every time you show up, every time you get your face on camera, every time you post something. So it's less about like, oh, how many likes did this get or how good was this hook? And more about would someone be able to see this and think like, I would choose her or not?
Yeah. Don't you think if most top producers, I'm just going to say from like the 90s, okay? 90s, early 2000s, if the top producers from yesteryear, do you
I'm
think,
reading that book right now. It's weird.
wait, is that a book?
Yesteryear.
Oh, I was like, wait, the top producers from yesteryear? Anyway, if a lot of them honestly sat down and heard the way, like if they listened to this podcast and if they heard the way that people were able to market themselves from their phones while on a trip with their family or while going to coffee with friends or while on a walk with their dog, I think they would be like, "Ugh, if only I knew that was possible." Like we were just talking before we recorded about how thankful we are for like modern medicine, right? Like there's so many advances today that exist that it's not all good, okay? Like there are some things that I'm like, oh yeah, this is like we need to be careful with this. But for the most part, you think about even just like, I mean, my daughter was hot in her room yesterday. I was like, oh, I'll just kick up the air conditioner, like press of a button. She was cool. Like there's so many advances now. And I think would be so foolish not to take advantage of them. The people that were hustling and grinding and having to drive all over town and print off all these flyers and meet creepy people in basements and all of those things, we don't have to do that anymore. And we would just be foolish to continue to do that. Now, I'm not saying that we can't learn anything from them. I think there's a ton we can learn from them. I think there's a lot of work ethic that comes with that and a lot of grind and sacrifice, like going without so that you can get to where you want to go. I think that there's so much that we can learn, but this is like the equivalent of starting a business today and not having a website. That's like how serious it is to not take your personal brand seriously and to not share your point of view on social media in this way. You're going to get left in the dust real quick.
Even if you take it to the example of your daughter being hot and turning on the air conditioning, what if instead you were like, "Well, why don't you, like, change your outfit and maybe get, like, a couple fans and, the temperature won't change, but it can at least, like, cool you down a bit," and, like, you just avoided the modern option or modern medicine. Something happens, you're like, "Well, you know what? I wanna do this like they did it in 1981, so, like, I don't want that surgery. I don't want you to save my life right now because, like, I'm living like it was then. Like, we don't need to do," like, you're resisting something that's only hurting you, basically,
Yeah.
by not adapting and learning and growing. Even with AI, I'm thinking, like, AI is the biggest change, I would say, since the internet coming out. But, like, people will bring up, like, "Well, what do you think that's gonna do to the real estate industry?" And I say if anything would have wiped out real estate agents, it would have been the internet. Like,
Right.
you went from, like, "I need you to go get that, like, book of houses to figure out what we can look at," to click a button and here's everything for sale right now. Forget you don't even need an agent to see that, really. That would have wiped I'm like, it won't wipe them out, but what we do need to do is we need to adapt to the modern way of doing things if you don't wanna get left in the dust, if you don't wanna be like, even if you are currently a top producer and you did grow your business that way, there's probably something somewhere where you're like, "Gosh, like, I have grandkids now. It would be really nice to have more time with them or to take them 1 day a week or to travel with my whole family and go to Florida for Christmas," or,
Yeah.
like, to use the fruits of your labor to do the things that you truly care about deep down and not keep the hustle going. Like, we had a good friend, he was actually our first real estate agent that we worked with, and he was just, until kind of recently, always just he was making a ton of money, but so stressed out, like, so if you would answer his phone like a million times if you were with him for an hour. Like he's just like, I can't keep up. It's just insane.
Wow.
He's like, it's just nonstop, putting fires out.
That sounds terrible.
I know. I mean, I would like have a panic attack. I just
Right.
couldn't do it. He's since like has his own team now and brokerage and all the things, and I think it's much better. But he had to adapt. He had to do something different, right? He built this business. He's very like heavy in luxury properties, and it's great. But he was doing it all, and he was just trying to keep up. And he had leads coming in, and like there was too much. It was too much. Now he has an email list. Now he has the team that helps. He has like his area of focus versus like trying to do all the things. Like there are things that you have to adapt and figure out as you continue. But if you don't want to be like, if you could be here right now where you're like, I'm so busy, I can't even think about another marketing tool, right? You think about using social media. Like, if you could ask yourself, though, like, what could I eliminate? Is there anything you could eliminate that would make things easier? That would make things more like, if you even thought about, like, if you listed out all of your clients from the past 12 months, like, who are the ones that were the absolute most headache, so much work, so much time? Like, maybe that elimination is like, I'm not going past this radius, or I'm going to focus my marketing on this city only, or I'm going to stop paying for leads from that source because I'm getting like I can make it up in referrals. Like, or I can focus on serving my clients better so I get more referrals instead of worrying about all these leads I have to keep up with. Like there's always something you could change to give yourself that time freedom that you probably got into the business for. And then you're like, what happened? Where did it go? I don't have any time freedom. And maybe it's not time freedom for you. Maybe it's more money. Maybe it's being able to start a brokerage or hire a team or get yourself out of the day-to-day work, and you're more behind the scenes managing it all, like, and managing the people and not so much showing the houses or going to the listing appointment. Like, the world is your oyster. You can do whatever you want, but you have to do something different than what you're currently doing to get there. Even if you would come on this podcast today and be like, I'm selling 20 million, I'm selling 30 million a year, whatever it is, and you would tell me, but I want to be here 1 year from now.
Mhm.
Both
Right.
like your life and financial, like how can you align them better?
Yeah. They talk about how it's not the best at the business that wins, but it's the best marketer that wins. Because you have to be seen. You can be the best of the best of the best, but if no one knows you exist or remembers you and their friend says they need someone, then you don't get that business and then you don't win. And I think sometimes this is like a mental like thing. Again, you have to kind of like retrain your brain a little bit. You can think to yourself, if I just outwork everyone, I will win. But like, not only will you lose, but you're going to be exhausted at the end of it. Like, we have to stop thinking so much about putting in more and more hours and like hustle, 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 and start thinking about how can I leverage what I have now? And I don't know why. I do think that women sometimes I don't know if it's like we have to prove it to everyone that we can have it all or whatever, but I think sometimes we feel guilty when we find a quote unquote shortcut, which I don't think that personal branding is a shortcut, but I do think that it's a method that doesn't require all of the away from home hustle, spending a ton of money, doing all the things. And it's something that is done kind of behind the scenes. So I think that it is when people see the payoff of it, I think they look at you and think like, well, how'd she get lucky? And they don't even see like the work that you put in. I think that it feels good to put like work in, but we have to like retrain our brains to remember that like it's not about putting in more hours or working late nights or just getting up really early and grinding harder. Like, this is all about positioning yourself as like the most hireable agent and not being the most tired agent, you know?
Do you know what I think is a better question to ask instead of like, how did they get there? I would ask, like, what was the mindset that they had when they were building their business that allowed them to have that
Yeah.
like determination, that focus, that unwavering, like, I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to veer off this path. I'm going to keep going, even when it's hard, even when I'm growing or not growing or whatever. It's like the mindset that is what got them there. Because I would guess like most of the like top producers of the 90s or like the old way of marketing your real estate business, I would guess they'd probably kill it if they were born
Mhm.
20 years later.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking about what in nature produces a lot. Like, what would be considered a top producer in nature? And I came up with bees. So then I was like Googling things about bees and does this little tiny bee produce so much honey? And I was asking like what the different traits are. And to summarize it, it really came up with, or I came up with, they have a massive output through unwavering focus. So would a top producer, whether modern or of the past. They have a clear delegation of roles. So that could mean a lot of things. That could mean, what are you delegating at home? What are you delegating in your business to take things off your plate, to help you grow, to help you stay in your lane, like your zone of genius? They have relentless execution and data-driven communication. The
Yeah,
last one is they have a balanced approach to energy and rest. And I won't dive super deep into the bee thing because it
that's so
can
good.
get really technical, but seriously, those are the reasons bees produce so much honey. That's also the reason an individual or a team or whatever produces so much business of real estate. That's how they sell so much real estate. Unwavering focus, delegation of roles, data-driven communication, and a balanced approach to energy and rest. Obviously, we could pick apart all of these. The balanced approach to energy and rest, that is how you don't burn out. That is how you maintain your level of business or go beyond it. Data-driven communication, I love this because I'm not gonna get into, like, what that means for the bees, but for a top producer in, like, modern day, I feel like we're in, like, I don't know, 1901. What that means to me is that you are paying attention to, so when it comes to marketing, we're trying to get visible, and you're gonna pay attention to, okay, is what I'm saying clicking? Is what I'm saying generating conversations first and foremost? Am I going out in public and someone stopping me and saying like, "Hey," like at the coffee shop, like they recognize you. The barista, like they see you all the time tagging them on Instagram. Are those things happening for you? And how can you use that data to like double down or to change it? So maybe you're showing up right now and you have like just listed, just sold, open house, random real estate tip, graphic, market update. And you're like, well, this isn't generating any conversation. This isn't generating any, like I'm using Instagram, but it's just not clicking. It's not working. You need to think about like, okay, data driven communication. This is not what I'm doing. What I'm putting down, they're not picking up. So, like, what
Yeah,
can we reevaluate, right? That means like your messaging. So, like, who are you even talking to? If you're just posting about generalized real estate and listings of all different price points and areas and randomness, that isn't going to be communicated well. But if you know, I serve this area and I help a lot of families move up to their next best fit size home. And I know they want to be like the hangout house. And I know they love like doing all the local summer events. And like you get really clear. Now your communication, your social media content, like what you're actually sharing is going to resonate with them. Now I'm like, now you can reanalyze that data and think like, "Oh, people are responding to me. People are in my DMs. People are recognizing me at the farmer's market or when I go to the bank." Like that's how you take what you're doing and analyze, is this working? It's hard on social media, it really is, because what you're doing isn't necessarily like, "Okay, well, I posted and then I got a client," or "I posted and then I got a lead. I put this strategy in my stories and 3 people said I wanna buy a like, it doesn't work like that. It's more like you are, like, building a house and you're laying the foundation first, and the foundation is your brand. That's, like, some of the things I said about, like, who are you talking to? What do you wanna be known for? What area are you serving? What is someone gonna connect with you over? That's your foundation. And then as you build, like, brick by brick, that's where the posts are and the stories are and the conversations start happening, and as you keep building that house, it's not like it ever like, eventually you can move in, and then you're at home with your brand, right? You can move in, but then there's still gonna be things like decorating and updating, and let's change that builder grade light fixture to something better and more me. Like, that's the modern version of a top producer, is they're building a brand that has that foundation, that is clear who they're communicating with, who they're trying to talk to, what they wanna be known for, and then they just keep building brick by brick by brick. They're not worried that that one brick didn't finish the house. They know that they have a lot of bricks left to go. And that along the way, it's gonna build them a house that people come in, they visit, you get to live there. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
I like
I'm just
rattled it off
laughing.
the top of my head.
I'm laughing to myself because I'm thinking, oh, yeah, it's almost like you need a whole marketing system. You don't need more content ideas. You need an entire system. We have these conversations even in our own business all the time, right? Talking about like ads. It's not just about cold ads or warm ads or whatever, but like every little ad, if you take away one that doesn't seem to be converting, but that's the one that got people's attention and got them to click over here, and then they consume, or like, oh, our Instagram posts aren't performing very well. But maybe people are finding us through there, building trust that when they do see our ad, they are quicker to buy. So if we stop doing the it's all a system, and we put too much weight on on one specific thing sometimes. When I think we have to look at it all as like this body that's working for you. If you take away one thing, something else isn't going to work. You mentioned earlier, just like you said the word attention, and I just thought like that is so much of it. The way that our brains hold attention and the way that you can capture attention now is so different than what it was 20, 30 years ago. So different. You used to be able to literally just put up, even on social media, a post that says, looking to buy or sell, call me. And you probably got someone to call you because you are probably one of 3 agents in your community who are posting on social media. Someone really did log in and then they thought, we were just talking about that. And then it just worked. But you're not that big fish in a little pond anymore. You're now a little tiny fish in a really big pond, and you have to find a different way to stand out. The way we have to pay attention to what we pay attention to. And that's so much of it. Even just like content in general. Like we're always thinking of like, well, what hook or what graphics or what reel or what B-roll or whatever will just get someone to stop for a second and hear what you have to say. If we can get them through like those first like 3 seconds of either consuming your content or even swiping once or something, they're more likely to keep going. But it's that first little bit. And that just was not an issue 20 years ago. We talk about personal branding all the time, but maybe that sounds complicated. But what if I told you you could have a personal brand by Friday?
We're giving you a simple week-long plan with clear action steps to follow Monday through Friday, so by the end of the week, you have everything you need to start standing out in your market.
Click the link in the show notes to grab your Personal Brand by Friday guide so you can get started today.
I want to talk about something, and it really relates to when you try to do marketing on your own in this way. Have you heard of Yerkes Dodson law?
Yeah.
Okay, so it says that performance improves with pressure or arousal, but only up to a certain point. So if you think about like, if you just get your license and you're like, okay, I'm gonna do open houses every weekend, you have a little bit of pressure on yourself, right? You're like, this is what I have to do to get my business going. So that could be one option. You might have a little bit of pressure when you're thinking social media, like this is what I'm gonna do. I've got it. But here's how it works. So too little pressure equals no urgency. So like, let's say really you're just getting your license for something to do. I don't know if anyone does this, but like you don't really need to make money. You're just getting your license. Well, you have no urgency. There's zero pressure, zero urgency. Too much pressure. So like, let's say you're like, I've got to figure this out. And I'm like so overwhelmed and I'm freezing and I'm spiraling and I'm just like, forget it. I'm not doing it. Like the too much pressure causes you to just quit. The sweet spot is when you have just enough challenge to grow with enough support to keep going. So instead of like when you're trying to figure out marketing all by yourself, you're trying to piece together all these things, the pressure is usually way too high because you're like, what do I even post? Why is this not working? Am I doing this right? Do I need to take a course? Do I need to get better at Canva? Why am I not getting leads? Like, should I change my location that I'm talking about? Maybe I need a bigger area. Maybe I need a bigger city. Should I copy what that agent's doing? In fact, I just saw someone join Modern Agent and they put for like what they're excited about in like the intake form part. They said, we have like questions to join our group. I'm excited to stop trying to follow what all the other agents are doing and have a plan that works for me. And I'm like, yes.
You're in the right place.
Yes, you're in the right place. But like what happens is the high level of pressure doesn't create performance. So this might be a lot of people listening. You're like, I know what I need to do, kind of, but I have way too much pressure and too many questions and too much swirling in my head that it creates paralysis. And then you do nothing. And then you say, social media doesn't work for me. So that's why, like, when we talk about a marketing system, that's why Modern Agent exists, is because we can lower the overwhelm for you and raise the right kind of pressure, because it removes all the questions and all like the like what do I even do to your marketing, right? And you have a plan and you have the tools to get started and you have the examples and you have the strategy, you have the accountability, you have the community. And so instead of being under pressure with no direction, you're in like the most productive zone where you can just like keep going and like fire at all cylinders.
Yeah.
So that is what summary of Yerke's Dodson Law. But that is why finding something for your business that is going to back to that dream destination, like where are you trying to get? Which road are you going to take? Obviously, Modern Agent is one of the roads, right? It would be, I would say it's like the back road drive. It's really pretty. It's beautiful. You're not going 75 with a bunch of cars and ugliness and like commercial buildings that you pass on the highway. It's like pretty and it's nice and you can kind of do your own thing and you can open the windows because you're not going too fast. Like you're just at like a steady pace and you're just enjoying your day. You're listening to a podcast, the sun is shining, and you're on your way to go to 3 closings. Like that is the
Mhm.
back road.
Yeah. Yeah. Not slamming on your brakes because some idiot cut you off.
Right.
There's cute coffee shops along the way.
Yeah, some idiot cut you off would be like, you went to an interview
Yeah.
for a listing appointment and there were 4 other agents interviewing and you didn't get the listing. Well, on the back road, you're going to meet the seller who already decided they're hiring you. Like you didn't
Yeah.
have to interview with them. Your interview was your audition on
Yeah.
social media, in your email. Like they already knew. They already decided. Like that's the power of the modern top producer. They aren't hustling for the business. The business is coming to them through having a brand that grows their business for them.
Yep. Exactly. So, Chelsea, it's summer and a lot of people have their kids home. A lot of people have vacations on their calendar. Maybe they're busy with clients, maybe they're not. What do we want them to actually take from this conversation? Like what's something that we're like, I mean, to me I'm like, if nothing else, take this as your permission slip that you can have it all. Like you can be a top producer and you can still make dinner with your kids if that's what's important to you. You can be a top producer and still go on vacation or still take Sundays off or whatever. But I think it all comes down to like you have to know what you want. You have to know where you're going and you have to know how you want to get there, right? Otherwise, you're just driving all around. We could go on with this analogy all day. It's a good one.
I sent an email with this analogy too. So
Did you?
this,
That's funny.
yeah. I think it is true. You can have it all. And it's funny because I feel like the way people talk about boundaries is it does not jive with my brain. They talk about boundaries as in like, well, I tell my clients I'm not available on Sunday. I don't even think you need to do that. I think what happens when you take the modern route and you build the business based on having a brand that people are coming to, and you're also, like I said, filtering people out, there's less noise in your business. There's less chasing. There's less time wasted because you're not just
Mm-hmm.
chasing cold leads, meeting them when they say, okay, I'm ready right this second. Things just flow way more in a rhythm. Like, not that you never are writing an offer at 9 p.m., not that you never have a day that is like, makes you want to like take a
Right.
nap when you get home. Like, not that you're never busy, but you're less like pointlessly busy. Like, I think there's a lot of like, I'm busy, but are you busy doing things that really need to be done? Or are you wasting a lot of time? Like, I have really tried to build my life that I am not wasting so much time on stuff.
Yeah.
Like I'm not like there's certain things I don't commit to or don't bring into the business because I know my boundaries on the inside, so it's never even a problem, right?
Right.
Like I know like I don't want to leave and travel every month. I don't want to host a mastermind retreat right now. Like there's just certain things I don't want to do. And so I create the business and the brand that supports that. And you do have the ability to do that in any capacity. Like we talked about with hiring help, delegating, looking at the data and removing things that just aren't working or reevaluating them, right? Not after a day of doing it or a week of doing it, but you know what I'm saying. Like if you look
Mm-hmm.
back over the last year and you're like, well, I spent this many hours doing open houses, this many hours on average doing listing interviews, this many out like things that you're like, gosh, I wish I could stop doing that stuff. I wish I could stop meeting or trying to convert all these leads. So what do I want you to take away from this conversation? If you're like, I want to go down the modern path, or maybe you're probably already on it. If you're
Right.
listening to this, you're already on it. But you want more for yourself. you wanna have it all. You want the business and the money that comes with it and the freedom that
Mhm.
got you into this in the first place. I think the first thing I would do, like Kayla said, is you need to decide what that is and be super clear on that and decide what you're not gonna do anymore or what you
Yeah.
don't wanna do 6 months from now, and then reverse engineer a plan of how am I gonna stop doing that? Like, maybe somewhere I would start is if you've never dabbled in modern marketing before, like your feed is more of the just listed, just sold, just randomness,
Mhm.
I would probably start with setting a timer on my phone every day to simply just document a couple parts of it that you
Yes.
bring into your content, that you bring into your stories, you bring them into your feed. I mean, in a matter of a couple of weeks, how you show up that way versus what you're currently doing, you're going to have an impact. And maybe no one will
Yes.
say anything yet. People are going to notice like very quickly. Even we had someone, they're like, just from the last 3 days of posting Modern Agent content and strategy, I'm having so many conversations. Three
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's not a lead, but you're starting to be seen and you're starting to get visible and you're starting to put yourself in front of people where they're not scrolling by. Because the problem with, like, if you're like, okay, I just want to automate this, like, let's just automate this whole social media thing. Like, someone just posts the stuff for me and then I can have it all, right? But that doesn't work because done for you, auto posted content will get scrolled right past. It's not gaining attention. It's not something someone would stop and read. It looks canned. It looks like it's not from you. There's
Yeah.
no personality infused into it. Like if you would go to a party and someone tries to talk to you and you respond with like one word answers or not at all. Like that's
Right.
what it's to post automated content or done for you content or any of those things. It just feels like something isn't clicking. Like it's not going
Yeah.
to work. So you have to take the reins a little bit, like not that you can't have help in any way, but take the reins a little bit to know like ask yourself this. What if I wrote down kind of like a business mission statement, but for your brand, if I wrote down what I want people to say about me based on what I share on social media, what would they say?
Right.
Like, would they be like, she is the late country mom who is always at a coffee shop, the library, and showing houses in neighborhoods with good amenities like pools or whatever? Like, what do you want to be known for? Even that's really specific. But maybe it's just houses in a specific town is the
Yeah.
answer, the
Yeah.
fill in the blank for that.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, even if it's something as simple as like she is on a mission to like make every home feel cozy. And so like I don't feel dumb calling her about my oak cabinets or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it can be nearly anything. And I mean that can open up a whole other can of worms. But I do think that you're right. I do think a lot of it is deciding where you want to go, decide how you want to get there. And then I do think that you need to track your progress. Now, I do think that sometimes people get so caught up in their analytics, like what we said earlier, where they're like, well, this one didn't perform well. This one only got 100 views or this one only whatever. And it's like, hold on. Like, first of all, if 100 people showed up to your door today and said, what did you say? And they want to see what you had to say, that's important. But also, you need to track more than just like your views. But I would try to really be tracking like either like growing your email list, how many DMs you're getting from your stories, or even better, how many DMs are you sending as you're replying to other people's stories? Like, give the engagement that you want to receive, right? Put yourself out there. How many people have you just like brushed shoulders with in the week? Have you left your house and gone to lunch with some friends, or have you gone to book club, or have you invited people over? Like I just told Chelsea, as we're recording this, tomorrow's my kid's last day of school, and I'm getting out the slip and slide for our kids, and we've got a couple neighbor kids on the street. And I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna tell the whole neighborhood, bring your kids over. Moms, bring a lawn chair. We'll just hang out, whatever. And I thought, how easy is this if I was still selling real estate full time to just say, like, come on over? Like, I'm literally doing nothing more than sending out a little thing on my Facebook group and turning on my hose. And like, I'm brushing, I'll be talking with probably 100 different people tomorrow doing that. And that's just a great way to just be known. And what's going to come up? Like, how's work going? What's that? Like, it really is quite simple. But if we're getting caught up in thinking like, well, I gotta, update my paid leads on Zillow and I gotta, refresh this. And maybe I should put more money towards these postcards. Maybe I should whatever. Like, we're staying inside our house, inside our little bubble, not even brushing shoulders with the people who could hire us and refer us. Those are the measurements that I would really focus on tracking.
I think one of the biggest misconceptions about social media is that, oh, I can just post and then I'm good. Like there's no social interaction with social media. And that's like one of the biggest pieces of the puzzle is I like to call it like where social meets social, where your social life meets social media. So if you're out at a coffee shop, take a picture, put it on your stories, share what you're doing, like on my way to blank. Give it some context, right? Like if you just were reading a picture, have you ever like seen a kid's book that just has pictures and no words and you're supposed to make it up?
Mhm.
I kind of think it's fun, but also I'm like, no, that's annoying. I just want to read the book. Like
Right.
it's like putting a picture out there with no context is like a picture or a children's book with no
Yeah.
words. Like give it some context. Like I'm picking up a nice, oh, I just saw this. It was a cereal milk latte someone shared about. I'm
Ooh.
like, that like stuck in my brain. I'm like, I'm going there for a cereal milk latte next time I go. I didn't even know they had that. And like that's the point of what we're saying is like that makes someone stop and think. Like, it's not just like, here's my coffee that everyone else is drinking. It's like,
Right.
it's not even about the aesthetically, like an aesthetically pleasing photo. It's about like giving context to your story, like
Mhm.
the story of you as an agent. I'm getting this cereal milk latte from Black Bear before I show houses in this neighborhood. Like, that gives context. That sticks in someone's brain. That makes you memorable. And all you're doing is documenting your life. You're not like going out to host this like event with photographers and a cartoon, not cartoon, balloon animal, caricature, whatever they're called. All those things. Like you're just showing up. Or Kayla's just saying, hey, come on over
Right.
and getting a package of cookies and a thing of lemonade from the store. Like we either overcomplicate it or we do nothing. I feel like those are our like variables sometimes. It's all or nothing. But, like, we don't have to overcomplicate it, and it can just be, like, if you're going to the farmer's market this weekend, what's, like, the thing there that everyone waits in line for? Like, I know at ours, there's a sourdough place that has, like, sourdough pizza crust, and the line is, like, so long the second that the farmer's market opens. Now, you can buy these at their, like, physical location, but people wanna get them
Right.
at the farmer's market. Like, it's just, like, thinking of those things, like, how can I just bring this to life? And we talk about this all the time, but it's the content some more. You're mixing real estate with your personal life, with local. So, like, your content is never just random. It's never just this random real estate thing that most people don't care about. It's never just this random personal detail that people are like, why is she sharing that? I thought she's a realtor. And it's never just like you're not the local mayor of your town posting all the events. You're all of it. You're
Yeah.
all encompassing all three of those things. You are a local real estate agent who has a personality and who lives in your community.
Mhm.
That's the filter for your content. A local real estate agent who has a personality and lives in your community. That's it.
Yeah.
Like when you break it down like that, like write that down. It doesn't feel that hard, does it?
Right. You know, again, comparing top producers top producers of yesteryear, they had to be
That's
the
a book?
they had to be the hardest workers, and that's kind of it, right? But you, as a modern agent, get to reach the most amount of people in the deepest, most meaningful way in the shortest amount of time. And all of that's through social media, email, all of the things. So leverage that, lean into it. One day, some of those top producers or your broker are going to be saying, now, wait a minute, how are you doing that? Like they're going to notice and they're going to be just a little bit jealous. I guarantee it.
That's a really good point. Like being a modern top producer is not like a get out of jail free card. It doesn't mean like, oh, you don't have to work at all. It just means you're going to work differently, but you are going to go all in and you are going to stay on the path that gets you to the destination. You're not going to keep veering off every exit and getting distracted by this thing, that thing. Oh, what about that? Oh, the grass is greener here. The grass will never be green until you water the grass in your own yard. Like, so whatever it is you're doing, water the grass. In fact, speaking of kids' books, we have this book called Oh Carrots. I've been looking for a time to bring this up. And in the book, this rabbit plants all his vegetable seeds, and it's his favorite time of year to plant the seeds in his garden. And he leaves one seed in the packet and he feels bad. So he plants it late, but then he gives that one extra care. So he waters it more, he reads books to it, he plays his guitar and sings to it. And lo and behold, which one grew the fastest, the biggest, and the strongest? The carrot seed that he watered the most and paid the most attention to. So the grass is greener where you water it. Now, the book, because it's a book, the carrot is a talking carrot and becomes his best friend. But,
Well, so will your clients.
right. So water your seeds wherever they are. But like honestly, it's not about a magic trick. It's not about this secret to success. Like whatever you do consistently, you'll be successful at it. But you have to decide, well, what do I want to be consistent with? for the foreseeable future. Like, what life do I want? Like, which
Yeah.
way do I want to go? You know, the back road might take a little longer than the freeway, but it's a lot more beautiful of a drive.
Yep. Yep. Very true.
I'm going to title this episode Back Roads or Country
I
Roads.
was going to say, I'm
Take me
thinking of
home.
all like the country songs that mention back roads. That's so fun. Very cool. Well, guys, this was another great episode. We have lots of fun things in store for you this summer. We're going to mix in a few even like shorter episodes for you because I know we're all busy and we all have a lot going on, but we want to still be that little coach in your ear, just loving on you and encouraging you because we believe that you are the best agents out there and we want you to succeed.
All right, guys, we will see you next Tuesday.
Bye.
I'm so glad we got to hang out today. If you're as sad as I am that our time is up, I've got good news. There are a couple of different ways we can keep the conversation going.
First, follow us on Instagram at Modern Agent Marketing Girls and introduce yourself in the DMs. Also, we always have a free Modern Agent resource available, so check out today's show notes for the goods.
And finally, hang out with other go-to real estate girls like you and finally create a marketing plan that works when you join Modern Agent Social Club. All the details are in today's notes.
XOXO, the Marketing Girls.